Hi, hello, Sat Shri Akal. You all are watching Punjab Kesari Nowadays Times. I'm Namita Sachdev with you, and today we have with us two very beautiful, gorgeous, talented, strong. जितना कहूँ उनके बारे में कम है. Yes, we have with us very pretty actresses of the industry, Tina Desai and Shruti Seth, who are with us right now. बहुत बहुत स्वागत आप दोनों का. Welcome to Punjab Kesari Nowadays Times. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. That's such a lovely introduction. So warm. Thank you.
Shruti, if I start with you, how did Bloody Brothers happen to you? Since you are playing a very challenging role, I believe in this.
Actually, Sameer Nair, who's the head of Applause Entertainment, has been an ex-boss of mine when I was working with Star TV. And I've been hounding him since he set up the platform, saying, I have to work with you, I have to work with you, you have to work with me. And I think there were a couple of shows that had come my way, but unfortunately the dates didn't work out. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and then again another show was offered, but I had a surgery done, so I couldn't do it at that point because it required me to play an action hero sort of. And I think वो होता है ना कि जो आपके लिए लिखा है वो कहीं ना कहीं किसी भी जरिए से बहाना बनाकर आप तक पहुंच ही जाता है. So this show actually just literally they called me and said, we're making a remake. Nobody else had been cast at that point, except for, I think, perhaps Zishan was the only actor who was cast at that point. And they asked me to watch the original Scottish series and said, hum ye show remake kar rahe hain with BBC Studios and Applause, and we would like you to play this character. After that, everything just went into a void and nothing happened. And then I think they got into casting with the other people, and I thought mere bare mein bhool gaye shayad. They forgot that they looked into me. But once the entire cast was locked, even the director had not been finalized at that point. And I think because of the pandemic, it kept getting pushed because they wanted to shoot. At one point, they had decided to shoot in Dehradun at Mussoorie, but then they weren't getting the right kind of permissions. Then they went looking to shoot in Kashmir, and that didn't happen. Then they were looking at shooting in, I think, in Himachal, in Manali. That didn't happen. And finally, when they decided to shoot in Ooty is when they came back to me. And I'd been in touch with them on and off. And finally, the cast had been locked, the director had been locked, and the show happened. And that's how we're here today.
Finally, the show has happened. Itni सारी जद्दोजहद और मेहनत के बाद में, है ना? So, Tina, my next question goes to you. Like, when you were approached for a series, so did you see Guilt pehle?
Yes. Yeah, to me it was a no-brainer. My casting was very, very funny. They called me, and my manager called me, and he said, so there's this show that they're interested in you for. We're sending you the original. Watch it as quickly as possible and let us know by tonight. They called me like evening, like some 5-6 o'clock, and they were like, let us know by tonight whether you want to do it or not. And I was like, what is this strange casting process? And then within like a half hour, I got a congratulatory message from somebody else in the industry saying congratulations on this show. And I'm like, what? I've not even watched it yet. What is happening? So it was very funny. And I watched the show. And I really loved it simply because I like that every character actively and significantly contributes to the plot, to the story. Each episode almost like in a way belongs to a certain character. And so everyone's important. There wasn't like this primary, secondary. Everyone was important. So I loved that. And everyone's character had some intrigue to it. Everyone had an agenda in the show. Everyone was like warped. So I love that because I naturally gravitate to anything that's twisted, and I love that. So I was very happy to get that. Then when I also found out that it's BBC producing, Applause is associated with it, that they sent me 2 actor combinations for the brothers. I hadn't heard about Shruti's role, but for the brothers, they had given me 2 combinations. I was really hoping for the combination that did get the roles. So, all of these things for me was very exciting. And automatically, obviously, I said yes by that night. And so when the boys were locked, when Jaideep and Zishan actually got it, I'm like, yes, I can actually like make things happen if I really will it. And so I was really happy with everything. And the fact that it was Ooty with the chocolate was like a bonus.
I want to ask that in Bloody Brothers, when you were playing the character, apart from what you have played earlier, how challenging was that for you to play this one?
I don't know if the word challenge is right. to describe the acting profession, because no one's life is at risk, to be honest. I think the right word that I would use is exciting. How exciting is it? Because really that's what it does. It gives you a flutter and you have butterflies in your stomach. And it's very thrilling to step out of your skin and step into the skin of somebody who you don't know, have never been. And you still have to bring it to the screen with so much, conviction, that I think I find it more exciting and thrilling than challenging. I would say it's fun, it's liberating, and it is one of the most joyful things about being an actor, that you get to be so many different people through your life, that you don't have to just be one thing, and to be able to see the world as different people, and to react in a situation in such a starkly different manner than you would as who you are as a person. I really feel that for me is one of the grandest perks of my job. I love the fact that I get to be different people. I get to be with different people. I get to be a part of different processes. I can never say that any two steps in my life have been the same. And I think that's fantastic. And that's what keeps us going. At least for me, I know that that's what keeps me wanting to keep working, is because every set, every process is different from the past. I have so many people I can go into my memory palace and find and say, Acha, I can base this on Tina. How Tina used to speak. Maybe I can be this character now in another life, in another show. So I really feel that our jobs are not challenging. They're thrilling. They're so immensely thrilling that it's addictive. You become an adrenaline junkie by the end of it. And I really feel that we all ought to be grateful that we get chosen to do what we do.
And you have said this because I think you love your profession, hai na, really. So that's why everything comes out is very exciting for you and not challenging. Hai na?
Absolutely. And speaking of the character that I'm playing in this show, I think it was even more exciting because I'm nothing like this person, like literally nothing like her. So for me to be able to say, okay, you have to build a backstory in your own head and think, Acha, what must this character be liking? Why does she behave like this? Why is her response like that? You have to do so much character study of a person and build nobody gave me कि प्रिया कहाँ से आई है, वो कितने साल की थी, कहाँ पढ़ाई की, उसके friends कौन है, nothing. I built my own idea of Priya in my head and said, Acha, maybe this is why she's sad, maybe this is why she's lonely, maybe this is what she's seeking. So it's very exciting to be able to think of yourself as another human being. So yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Tina, may I ask you, how much concerned are you with the length of the character that you play in any film or any series?
I would ideally like to have a very central role, simply because when it is a very central role, you have more to play with. You have more of a story, you have more of a character, you have more time to explore it, you have more time to do what you enjoy doing for a living. So obviously that's something that is great, but sometimes now actually several times there are characters who possibly come in for like 3 scenes but do so much with those 3 scenes. Like they come, they leave a mark and they go. So for me, I think it's now become like if the character substantively contributes to the plot, I'm okay with it. But then also in India, I have to say this, the power dynamic also matters to me, because sometimes when the character comes in for a short period of time, they're given lesser respect. And that's something that really riles me up. So when I sense that vibe won't be there, then I'm happy to do a really bit role. But yeah, I mean, as an actor, as something that I do for a job, as a living, I would, the longer it is, which is why I really like series, because you sometimes it's something that you get to play over like 5 seasons, so you get to see what that one character would do in various situations, and how that character stretches himself or herself out and faces life. So it's really fun, but it depends on the writing and it depends on the project, because sometimes the length doesn't matter.
जैसे जयदीप से जब मेरी बात हो रही थी, जयदीप और जिशान से, तो उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि वो सेट पर सबकी टांग बहुत खींचते थे.
Yeah. He's wicked. He's very wicked. Both the boys gang up on you and destroy you. Like they will pick, at least for me, they picked on what I ate, what I watched in terms of movies, what music I listened to, how I spoke, how I ate, what I ate, everything they targeted. And it's like, can I do anything right? But that's what I really loved. I love that they were really easygoing from the word go, and that made it very easy to work with someone. Like, you can just jump into it because there's no awkwardness.
So in fact मैं ये जानना चाहूंगी आप दोनों की camaraderie कैसी रहती थी set पे, off the sets?
I really loved Shruti and Danish's equation. For me, that was something that really I found really fascinating. I also loved how she dealt with the boys. By the boys, I mean Jaideep and Zishan, because, like I said, they're bullies. And she gave it right back. Like, the speed of her retorts, the quality of her retorts just came effortlessly. So obviously she's dealt with a lot of like bullying from Danish, and he's also like hysterical. Like, there was this one evening where we hung out and we discussed like the world and all of its problems, and we had all the solutions, of course. And they had opposing points of view, or, well, if not opposing, different points of view. But they both kept at it, and at no point did it get emotional. At no point was there a power equation. They were confidently and ceaselessly making their points clear. And I just loved that. I was like, their home must be fun because discussions are so like intense and fleshed out. So that, I think, was, what I really enjoyed and respected in Shruti. Like, I didn't know she was so eloquent. I didn't know she was so aware. And so, like, the acting bit was whatever. I'm like, hey, tell me about what you think about the world. Tell me what you think about the moon. So that is what I enjoyed with Shruti, like her mind.
Thank you.
And she's very easy. I think that's her VJing background, so she's very easy.
So मैंने बोला कि श्रुति तो अपनी मैजिकल पावर्स का इस्तेमाल भी करती होंगी सेट पे.
So I have to tell you that Tina and I said this to her. We just met recently for promotions, and I was telling her, I said, I hope that I can be inspired by her enough to use my time well. Because she was staying in Ooty for a very long, extended period of time. I was flying in and out, and there were lots of days that she was not shooting. And I was like, yaar, ye bichari pure din apne kamre mein baithi hai. She must be getting so bored. Till I found out that she doesn't sit still for a second. She was learning a language. She was learning a new skill. She was doing yoga. Matlab, her day was packed. And it's amazing that she does it without tom-tomming about it everywhere. Quietly, she would stay in her room. I barely see her till we actually would call and say, Acha, why don't you join us? We'll come back from set or whatever. She was so self-sustained as a human being. And I think that is amazing because I'm such a restless soul. And of course, there is a difference. I have a daughter who just keeps me on my toes at all times. So I actually crave time to myself. But even when I'm alone, I'm like, acha, now, you met a nice cast. Let's all hang out. Let's do stuff. We'd all play snooker together. We'd fool around. And I know that these two boys were horrid to her. They were horrid to her. They would just together, they would get on and then bug her and bug her and bug her. But I love the fact that she was so zen. She was like, I don't care. Tum log bolte raho, kuch farak nahi padta mujhe. And she would be like, yes. She'd be humoring them all the time. But I think it came from a place because as a human being, this is my gathering of her, that she is someone who loves her own company. And that is something which all of us have to try and do. I think that is also amazing. And I think we had a great time on set. That I will give all of them. Everyone on that set was very easygoing. They made being there very easy, very comfortable. There were no power games, no power dynamic. Sab milkar khush the. And as for the boys bullying me, I think I always say this to everybody. When I was in Channel V, one of my co-VJs, Gaurav Kapoor, he used to always, he's such a tall guy, he's like 6'3". He would always tell me, he said, Shruti, say it. In your head, you're 8 feet tall. You walk into a room like I'm an 8 feet tall person. He said, but you're not. You're very small. Please remember that. Kuchal denge tumko log. But in my head, I'm ready for a fight with no matter who's coming at me. And sometimes that's foolish also. And I use the word fight very liberally. But I was like, if you ask the boys, they'll probably tell you that I bullied them.
Yeah, that's true.
There should be a woman now who could bully a man, I believe.
Why should a woman be a man? A woman just has to be a woman and hold her own. And I would say, while Tina didn't say anything, she held her own quietly. I would bark back at them. She would just quietly say, yeah, okay. After a while, a person's like, okay, what can I say to someone who's just conceding, saying, okay, you guys are right. Very good. Congratulations.
Tina, I always wanted to know, how do you have this great command over languages? अब तो एक और सीख रहे हो. English, Hindi, Telugu, Gujarati, Kannada. ये तो आपको आती है, I believe, है ना?
I'm from Bangalore, so that's Kannada. My dad's Gujarati. My mother's Telugu. I'm in Bombay. And I'm learning Spanish. I don't speak any language well. As you can see me struggle with my English. All of it's rubbish. Shruti knows with my Hindi. But I like to pretend I know these languages. And so, I'm just, the Spanish is really just to see if I have like stigma related to certain languages or not. But I'm suffering with all equally. So I'm like, okay, I'm just language challenged.
What about Marathi?
I know the stuff that they say at train stations because when I came to Bombay, I used to use the trains for auditions because I had like 5 a day. So I can say exactly what that lady on the trains on the recording says, but not very much more.
Yeah, very nice. So I must say this is Women's Week going on. So any message you want to give to all the beautiful ladies or women watching out our show there or interview there? Starting with you, Shruti.
I think I would just say that the world is finally ready for women. So it's really important for us to seize this time, use it well, make mistakes. The men have had many, many, many years of practice. We're just starting out and there will be failures, but let that not deter you from just marching on ahead. And I'm glad that finally we're being seen, we're being heard. And I'm speaking very specifically to our industry. Like Tina, I come from an extremely democratic home. My mom has been a working woman. I've been a working woman. But I know that I come from immense privilege. So I recognize that. And I know a lot of women don't have it. But it is opening up and it is going to come your way. So please use it well. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Just go for it. Whatever happens, happens. You have to just keep moving. That's all.
Tina, your message.
I have been asking a lot of people about how their lives have been since this whole women's lib discussion has begun. And I've realized that like even these words like independence or strong and all of those things are, I don't fully understand it because that's just the way we are. To me, it's not like going out and doing your thing, having a job, traveling on your own. That's just the way it is, right? Is that independent? So that's how normal it is for me. But I understand that it's a small number because my aunt, my mother's sister who lives in a village, did nothing in her entire life. She was the wife and she was the mother and she cared for everyone and that's all she did. And then unfortunately her husband passed a few years ago and she suddenly she had to take control of everything. She had to pay her electricity bill. She never paid her electricity bill. That was something the man had to do. She didn't know where the money was, in what account, what the account number was. She didn't do anything for herself, basically. And so she suddenly, developed a career for herself. She gives tuitions to the children in her town. She pays her electricity bill. She collects her pension. She opened an account in her name. She never had one. She travels on her own, which is apparently a big thing. So I'm just saying that a lot of people don't do things because they've either never been accustomed to it or they've never been allowed to. My message would be, please just go out there and do things on your own. It's not that hard. Now that my aunt is doing it, she's like, I don't know why I never did it before. She's got her confidence. She's got a mind of her own. She's paying attention to current affairs around her. She's educating herself. I mean, it's just so liberating for herself. She's actually got an opinion on things. Earlier, she was a doormat. Now she's got... I'm like, why would I... Please, men, don't hold women back. Don't be afraid of it. It's only beneficial to you if you I'm saying allow. Can you imagine the women to do their thing? So I'm just like, please, women, don't be afraid to just stand on your own 2 feet. Even the women who are somewhat liberated still leave the financial decisions to the men. Please don't do that. Please understand your own insurance, your own investments, your own, just take control of your life. It can be very liberating to everyone. Men, women, the economy, the society, the world, everyone. Just don't hold back.
Definitely. It all happens because we all live in a male dominating society. So this Nazariya or Soch has to get changed. Thank you so much, Tina. So much, Shruti, for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
lovely
question.
chatting with you.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you soon.
We're so looking forward to watch Bloody Brothers.
Thank you.
Yay.